Say good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our second part of our three-part program. It's a beautiful day. It's grateful to be out at this particular time in commemoration of our departed members. Would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to our flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The national anthem will be sung by Betty Rooney.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light was so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets rattling, their brands bursting in air, gave proof to the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does the star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you very much. Dear God, we are very grateful for those that have passed this way. Let their light so shine that it may be a beacon unto all of us. We're very grateful for the wonderful service we just partaked in at the Methodist Church. We appreciate the wonderful words. And perhaps the parable of the butterfly is something that we all could share in, and that those that have gone before us, providing the young to continue as we protect our village. Thank you. This time we'll have the presentation of the wreath from the Ladies Auxiliary. Thank you, ladies. The chiefs of the department. Chiefs. We are here today to honor those of us who have served in our volunteer ranks and have answered their last alarm. In particular, we wish to remember those we lost this past year. Ex-Captain Peter Abadi, Volunteer Engine Hose Company number 3. Captain John Paul Sr., looking ladder, company number 1. Ex-Chief George Hausler, Mamro engine hose, company number 1. Firefighter James Hanrahan, Mamro engine hose, company number 1. Firefighter John Smirger, Mamro engine hose, company number 1. Ex-Captain Arthur Robinson, Columbia engine hose, company number 2.
Ready. Aim. On. On. 2, 3, 8. Huh.
We were at the Oriana Day School fighting a fire, and I asked Mr. Post, he told me he wasn't feeling good. I asked him if he wanted to go to the hospital. He says, no. Do you want me to take you home? No. I said, well, I said, take a few minutes rest, and if you don't want us to take you home, you go ahead home and don't worry about nothing. So he says, all right. And about 5 minutes later, he says to me, all right, Captain, I'm going to go home. I said, okay, Anthony. On the way home, he stopped to get a drink, and he dropped dead in the restaurant. He took a lot of smoke at that fire, I'll tell you that.
Person in this place that works.
David Vaughn.
You captain?
I'm a former chief. I
Former
served
chief.
as chief from 1985 to 87. It's a volunteer fire department, and you serve as a chief for 3 years in our service, in our department, I should say. So my term is over, and now I'm just a member of the fire council, and just a department driver and another member of the department. The position of chief of the department, your function is to do one aspect of the fire service, and then when you're not a chief, you just do another aspect of it. Fire whistle blows, you come and take the fire engine, or you take a hose line, you go in the building, and whatever you have to do, you just do it. It's not that you don't do firefighting any longer. Once you've served as a chief, you just go back into the ranks.
What is all the different ring on the fire? You know, when
whistle?
I'm at home, I'll hear a whistle. It's got little, seems to tell you
Codes.
something.
They're codes. They're codes. In other words, they have each location is a signal, and it's you know of a location of a fire based on the, for example, Mamaroneck Avenue and Grant Street may be box number 22. So if the whistle blows twice, and then twice again, you know it's box 22. Show them the board. We have the various streets and their alarm signals are here. For example, Mamaroneck High School, Palmer Avenue is a 12. So if the whistle were to blow a 1 and then a 1-2, and with some space between that, between the 1 and the 1-2, you would know it's box number 12. There's different signals in the whistle for a general alarm versus a company call. Company call, you have 2 engines. In the general alarm, you have 4 engines in the ladder that will respond on a general alarm of fire.
Is there a particular fire that you think was like the worst you were ever at?
Any fire can be the worst fire you're at. When you think in terms of property loss, we had a large fire on Mamaroneck Avenue down the foot of the avenue down there, which there was a fatality, and there was a lot of property loss. But you could have a fire in which you have one person that suffers injury, and that can be very traumatic in itself. There's no magnitude that can really determine whether or not it's a big fire. You can have a fireman that can be overcome by smoke at a car fire. So that's a major issue. Not so much how many fire engines appear at the scene or how many buildings are destroyed. A very small fire is as dangerous to life and property as a very, very large fire. We have, remember we talked about who are firemen and where do we come from? In time of fire, here's the gentleman that makes the bread for all the village of Mamaroneck, Joe Lanza.
Joe Lanza.
He works in the bakery with his son-in-law, 2 doors
I
down.
was born and raised in the flats.
Can you
You
yell
can't
out?
beat the flats. The flats is the best part of the village of Mamaroneck.
This is one of the reasons why the Mamaroneck Fire Department is in such great shape. And our buildings are so well inspected, and all the codes are being adhered to in the village of Mamaroneck because of our code enforcement officer's position, or the code enforcement officer position in Mamaroneck. And Rick Sudol is also second lieutenant in the ladder company. So he doubles with many different hats. Also, he's a member of the career force at Scarsdale. But Rick will tell us something about some of the things that have been happening. You can see the noise that the fire apparatus makes when it backs in. But Rick is just going to tell us something about what happens with what he does.
On a day-to-day basis, we go around and inspect the different buildings in the village for compliance with the state fire laws.
Hold up, back up.
Checking occupancies for the restaurants, checking for the storage of hazardous materials, flammable liquids, chemicals, improper use of electrical equipment, and everything along that line.
Is that your regular uniform?
No. No, actually, I wear a dress uniform during the day for work. This happens to be the off-duty
Attire.
undercover incognito attire.
Showing those legs.
Showing the legs.
Too high. This is not...
Sunday morning.
Sunday morning, going out, picking up the rolls, going to church type of attire.
Isn't your wife around someplace?
She's around someplace.
Where is she? Tell her to come in. You want to let everybody know that the firemen have wives also and how pretty they are.
What is this all about?
Yeah, firemen have wives when they see them.
Loving and understanding wives of the fire
The ones
department.
that put up with everything they do. I know.
We do have families, and I have two daughters, Elena and Lauren, and they want to be firemen when they grow up. One of them, Elise, says, my little one, and they think it's a real thrill that the father's involved with the fire department.
My wife and I celebrated, I have two children, just I'll mention that. My wife and I celebrated our 25th wedding anniversary, and it just happened to be on the night when we were having our firemen's parade, unfortunately. So on my 25th wedding anniversary, I was marching down Mamaroneck Avenue as chief of the Mamaroneck Fire Department. I felt very proud.
Was it on that same
Both
night?
days, I guess, was on the same night. So my wife and our wives have been asked to go beyond where we've been asked to go. We go out and serve, but they are many hours without us being at home or being able to do a lot of social things. That's like a good promo for the department, but just so the community knows that the sacrifice is not just with the persons that go out to serve in form of firefighting, but the families that are also involved in many cases, and sometimes they're just left without going to this affair, that affair, because we're involved with something in the fire service. But we don't have any regrets, do we, guys? No, right?
No, I remember a New Year's Eve where we left all the women in the firehouse. We went out an alarm, I think about 9 o'clock in the evening, didn't get back till about 4 on New Year's Day. The only men that were here were guests of
that
the
the one on
party.
the Post Road?
Right.
Okay.
Was the old, what did they call that place? Post Appliance or
Yeah, I
something
think
like
so.
that?
I wasn't in the
Directly
department.
across the street from the Mamaroneck High School on the Post Road. Some of the people said, gee, this is odd. Here we are guests and there's nobody here. There's no firemen here. But those things happen.
Some of the terms we use when you say that we went to a fire and we left all the women here and firemen and whatnot, there are women that serve their communities in the fire service, and we have in the village of Mamaroneck also, we have female firefighters also.
I live in a volunteer town. And I've got an obligation to protect my family. And I can't depend on somebody else to do it if I'm not going to put my part in. And there's a lot of jobs that go with it. We part of the carnival committee, do a little bit of cooking here, got to keep the interest up. I became a lieutenant with that in mind to carry that attitude through. I'm not going to ask anybody to do anything that I wouldn't do. And there's a
you got
need.
your hands in everything. You're down. You're
I try.
big part of the carnival and the EMS and everything. You've been really giving of yourself to the community.
Well, there's a lot of self-satisfaction too. You had the opportunity to say I was involved. You know, I didn't stand by and watch it happen. I was a member and an active part of it. Which a day in dry chem is how I ended up in this firehouse. It was a sales speech from Dave Vaughn that spurred me to come into this house instead of one of the other houses. This is an active department. We've got the jaws for I-95. There's the Hearst tool. A lot of operations we take care of. Keeps my interest. The whole operation revolves around, when a car is in an accident, there's a compression action. Okay, the car is pushed together. All of these tools are used to expand the car, open the car up, making it easier to get the person out of the car. Each has its own particular application. Usually there's two men on a tool. One is directing looking at what the operation of the tool is going to be. The other man is safety, checking on the patient, make sure we're not going to do any injury to the patient.
The spreader is used mostly to open the doors if they're jammed or wedged. Actually, this tool will spread them open.
How heavy is it?
I would say it's approximately around 80 pounds. It's a heavy tool.
This piece is the cutter. This is used to...
This is the cut. This is what it's a cutter. It cuts either the A-frame or the frame.
A-frame is the side of the car where the door comes down?
Door comes down. Okay. Used to cut steering wheels.
Anthony, bring that hose this way.
This is what they call a ram bar.
Have you ever used the jaws of life yourself?
Yes, I have.
This is an airbag system. It works in conjunction with the hearse tool. You'll end up with a situation where a car may have flipped over, it's in an unstable condition, the car is rocking back and forth. You need to stabilize the vehicle. Something we use is the airbags. It works off a Scott pack. This is normally used inside a fire for breathing, okay? But instead, what we're using this for power to drive the airbags.
Well, it costs a lot of money to live in Mamaroneck. It would cost a lot more. It would cost a lot more if you had to pay for your firefighting service. But we come free. You don't pay for us. And I think that's just something that really you don't know how expensive it would be until, well, we're not there and you have to bring in people with salary. So that's why we ask everyone to realize that this is something that we all have to do together. It's just not one neighbor or let my neighbor do it. No, we all have to do this because it enables all of us to stay in an area that we want to stay in.
In a typical situation, you'll be called upon on the accident. You'll have EMS in the vehicle taking care of the patient medically, but they can't get him out of the car. Our job is just to make it easier to get the person out of the car without any further injury. What's up? Who am I speaking to?
It's probably your wife telling you to bring home bread and milk.
Have you ever done that personally?
I've been involved in extrications, yes. Probably one of our more popular locations is the S-turns down here coming into Mamaroneck.
Yeah,
we've got a lot of accidents there. We're very popular up on the thruway.
Interstate 95.
Interstate 95 keeps us busy. It can happen at any time. Being there's no one in the house full time, you've got to drop what you're doing and be ready. You can get fairly involved at times.
Pretty emotional.
Yes.
Very emotional.
There have been times when you really didn't want to be there, but you sometimes don't have a choice.
But certainly our hearts are in the fire department. I have quite a history of family association. My brother-in-laws are in the company. My father-in-law was an ex-chief. Most of us have somewhere in the neighborhood of 40 to 50 years of service. Our wives are associated, our sons are associated, and we're very happy with the association we have here in the fire department.
There's a lot of us out here in the community that do this, that you see us on the fire scene and we're out there putting the fire out. You don't realize that the rest of the time, take all this off, put it back into the car with a car phone, start doing business at the end of the fire. Village EMS, used to be the rescue squad, carry my own first aid kit. This jacket for ambulance calls. In the dive team, so I've got my dive equipment here, and in this bag I've got not only that, but 150 feet of rescue rope, fire extinguisher. Open this up, you'll see extra clothes, ropes, climbing helmet, quite a bit of gear. It's important that I have a vehicle like this so I can put all my gear. This is what a fully equipped volunteer car should look like. No golf clubs, no tennis rackets, everything pure business. This is your simple change. I get to the fire scene, I carry my own equipment. I have large feet, so it's hard to find equipment that fits, but this way I get a quick jump at the scene. These are bunker pants, which add an added bit of protection. They're fireproof. I've got gloves in here that are extra. This is what they call a turnout coat. So you go from being a mild-mannered businessman to a fully operational fireman. Totally fireproof suit. I've got more gloves up here. This is an alarm. This is if something happens to me and I fall and stop moving, the alarm goes off to tell a fellow fireman where I am. Put on the helmet, and it's off to the scene of the fire. It also saves a lot of clothing. My wife gets mad when I ruin my clothes, but that's part of the fun. A lot of the volunteers do this. We do this out of our own funds. Village doesn't pay. It's all extra money that we do this because a lot of people would play golf or tennis. This is our hobby, playing volunteer. It's not playing. We take it quite seriously. But there is a lot of fun in it, you know, the off times when there's not a fire or something. Take this off. More times I've been involved either on the highway driving from job to job. My business is furniture installation, and I've had to stop at accident scenes and fires, and I've been able to help out. Shut the door and it's... Put on the sunglasses and it's back to work. Never know.
This guy, when they have the open cabs, as many of those guys, come out half-dressed in the middle of the night, no shirt, cold, snow on the ground. Here comes Joe coming through the village with a fire engine, and you look at that, and you say, my goodness.
Well, I want everybody to know, when Dave Vaughan, before he got in the volunteer department, I used to see him in the early morning, 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. Don't even belong to the department. He used to come out to the fires. So I talked to a bunch of guys. I said, how about let's get Dave Vaughan in our company? Well, and if we finally got in, became one of the best men we had. Became the second lieutenant, first lieutenant, captain, and he became a fire chief of the village of Mamaroneck. And we're still is very active today.
Well, thank you, Joe. It's kind of examples that Joe sets. An ex-chief. That some of us that come in, when you think in terms of pride, tradition, and commitment, you watch guys like Joe Lands and other members of the department, you see what they've been given to themselves over the years, and you can't help but try to do the best you can to emulate that kind of activity.
Volunteerism, as we say in this village, is very important. We've heard the mayor say it, we've heard the manager say it, and many other people.
Stairs and hey, man. Very casual. How you doing? You know, Melissa, your daddy is one of the main reasons why this fire engine's in the village of Mamaroneck today.
That's right.
Because of your father. Very, very
excited about that.
Means a lot, right?
This is our new truck. This is the fire truck. You wanted to see so badly. A little older, you can ride it, okay?
With raising kids in town, wouldn't the fire service be a great way of a family being involved, staying together as a family, a positive activity, where you could become a member of the Explorer Post at age 14?
Let's try to get on that.
So
actually, what got us in was when we started Explorer Post in 1973. Our advisors was John Barney and Howell O'Rocco at the time. When we started in that, and it was a way to start into the fire department. Now, today, we have a guy by the name of Anthony Valentine, who's a good friend of mine. He's former president of the Post 444. Anthony?
We basically do things for the fire department. We help out at fires. The kids will be working down the carnival, running a couple of the booths to watch the apparatus, and they get involved a lot in the fire department. And right now we're trying to get all the kids involved with the other companies other than just volunteers.
I just think that it's imperative that anybody that has children and families in this town, that you want to involve your young persons involved in something that's positive. Stop down here on the first or third Monday night and have them become a part of the Explorer Post. Castorella family is just another example of families giving of themselves totally for their community, and they're truly a fine example of what it's all about to be a member of the Village of Mamaroneck family.
Years back there, when they had this racing team, the volunteers made this a part of their casual affair. In other words, it was always every week they were at the firehouse, every weekend. it became a great part of their lives. Today, I think with the economy, young fellows are out trying to earn a living.
We're going to go out of the firehouse and directly next door. This is not a commercial endorsement. There's Chip's One Stop, and Chipper is now the second assistant chief of the Maranic Fire Department. And prior to that, he served this company in many offices. But another example of a person not only willing to give of himself, but he leaves his place of business in the time of an emergency.
Ex-Chief Vaughn is handling all our public relations this year. He's doing an excellent job, may I add.
Well, Chief, we're ready, and I know you're excited about the carnival coming up and all the with the parade and everything else. And Chip's the father of a couple of young children, and they're excited about everything that Daddy's been doing, and we're just proud to have Chipper as the second assistant chief of the Maranic Fire Department.
Yes.
And you can still drive the fire engine sometimes instead of his chief's car if the fire whistle blows. And he's a man of a few words, but don't get him started.
During the war years, we had the biggest fire in the history of the Maranic Fire Department when the lumberyard burned on Waverly Avenue. And the firefighters were there over 24 hours without leaving, which we had to get outside help to help us. And of course, at that time, a lot of our firemen were in service, but we managed, and we saved a lot of homes because the sparks were flying all over the place. So in all, we are very proud of this company. And of course, as a whole, the fire department does a very, very good job for the village of Mamaroneck.
We thank you very much, Debbie, for coming into our home and listening to some of the things we had to say today.